Backdrop. I don't know. Just thought it would be appropriate to have something in the background while I yap at the camera for God knows how long this topic or thing will cover. Uh, Guys, hello. It has been quite some time since I have last spoken to a camera. I think last video I posted was probably about 7 months ago, but this is something that I'm just trying out and seeing how I like it. If I don't like it, I won't do it again. But this is a pilot episode, so things could change for the next time as I do this. Who knows? Um, and yeah, this is definitely super heavily inspired by the Zerky show, where he kind of just talks right at the camera, fireside chat, and does a lot of self reflection that time. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a little bit of that on the camera while I talk to you. Uh, um, but yeah, definitely, if you are interested in that kind of content, we'll probably put it down below in the video. Who knows? Let's see if I remember. Uh, but yeah, this is going to be a little segment or show or whatever called Off the Script, where I will kind of initially start out with an idea of what I want to do, but then eventually not follow the script because I will go off of it. But yeah, so for something for the first time, just going to be super scuffed. So there will be weird, awkward moments probably like this right now where I'm just talking at a camera and I'm feeling awkward doing so. But yeah, I mean, if you want to throw me on the background, you can go right ahead. But God, I think this is probably gonna be a short video. Um, but point being, let's get started, right? Something that's kind of been on my mind a lot is dating. For those who know me, I've been broken up with about 3 months now from a 2-year relationship, and I'm fine right now. I've definitely done a lot of healing and processing as all people do, but you know, I've in that time, I think inevitably I've gone from healing to just being ready to throw myself out into the open world again, the open seas. Um, and I don't know for those who know me, but I'm not exactly a super social person. So I think the next best step that I took, in my opinion, was dating apps. And I don't know how many of you guys have used them, but they are kind of intimidating. There are a lot of very beautiful people on there, and my God, I don't know if any of them want to talk to me. Or jokes aside, I went to Hinge, which, in my opinion, right, it is the least trashiest out of the other ones. I mean, fucking Tinder has been around for as long as I've been alive, and I don't even know anything about Bumble, but I tried it out for like a day, and I was like, not exactly my cup of tea. But Hinge definitely works a lot better for me. I like the format; it's very clean. The prompts are nice, and I know with Bumble you definitely do get those, but it's like I'm just gonna stick on Hinge because definitely Tinder is some real trashy stuff. No offense if you like Tinder, but it's just not my forte. But my God, it is so pay to win. It's kind of like Hinge or Bumble, or I don't even know if Tinder's the same way, but it kind of feels like Clash of Clans. You know, if you ever played early Clash of Clans, you remember that you would probably like be building, building, building. Things would be super fast in the beginning, but then at some point, right? At some point, you get to a wall where you're gonna have to pay gems to be able to speed up the process, finish buildings quicker. Otherwise, you end up waiting like a whole week for your town hall to get finished building. And let me just say, I'm not a super patient person, but no, I didn't pay any of these dating apps. But I'm just saying, right? I looked at the price. I even wrote this down in my notebook for the script. That shout out to Campus, by the way, awesome brand. Chikawa Usagi, my guy. But I wrote down the prices. 3 months of Hinge Plus, mind you, 3 months of just slightly above the free tier. You get unlimited likes and of course probably some other perks, but you know how much it is? Fucking 90 fucking dollars. And then if you want to go to the premium, unlimited likes, and you get to move yourself up the rank ladder, I guess. I don't know. In somebody's like match history, then it's like 100 fucking dollars. Expensive. Jesus fucking Christ. And I'm just saying, if you it's not for me. I don't got that type of emotion. But if you are spending this money on this dating app, shit, power to you, I hope. But I'm on Hinge, right? And the one thing I've realized is I don't know if I'm cut out for it. I think what it is that when I'm on there, right, I see all these people. My God, literally, it's like the social media effect. I swear to God, right? Where you look at all these people, you see all these pictures, and it is, of course, obviously, they're going to show their best, most prime version of you, of themselves. I mean, but that's kind of intimidating for like Instagram, right? I could like it's kind of a different story. I feel like with like social media, it's like you combine social media with the vulnerability of dating, and that makes it even exponentially scarier, I feel like. If you think about it, it's like social media, you kind of see the best highlights of a person's life, and now with like Hinge, for example, right? This person, they probably key selected their images that goes on their profile, and sure, that makes the most amount of sense, honestly. I mean, shit, like you fucking peacock that shit, right? But it's like, at least for me, right, who is still very much a newbie in the dating scene and trying to still put my foot in there. But it's so fucking scary. And I guess maybe like you could argue like, oh, maybe you just gotta like, you know, fucking just ram it right in, right? Just don't give a fuck. Just fucking shoot your shot like that one fucking image of like that basketball player shooting from the moon to Earth. Um, Maybe that's how you're supposed to do it, but it's like it's kind of crazy how we've mixed social media and this dating scene into like one thing, and now it's just this mess of just, oh, now I kind of don't know I want to talk to this person because they look like this like supermodel when they could be an incredibly chill person. I don't know, because everybody on this app looks like a fucking supermodel to me. um Anyways, tangent aside though, um I went on a couple of these dates, and I had like one situationship that lasted for like a month, and that sucked because whew, that was actually a pretty nice. I thought that was gonna go somewhere, but I think if anything, the lesson you can learn from dating is that I think trying to recuperate my thoughts here. I think if anything, I realize that while with my experience on Hinge, right, I'm glad I put myself in this kind of vulnerable position. Pause. Pause. Um, where I am giving myself the opportunity to meet so many like amazing people. And like, I never had any grievances with a lot of these people, except for the motherfuckers that fucking ghosted me. Fuck you. Kidding. Jokes. Jokes. All love. All love. But um, I lost my train of thought. I'm happy that even though I think finding a match, finding a connection, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what we all want. We just want to find a connection and find someone who understands us. I'm glad I put myself out there, as scary as it is, because every single moment I think has been a learning instance. And I think that's probably the best way you can go about approaching something like this. Just learning experiences, even though they may not all work out, right? I think like the best thing you can do is just kind of shoot your shot, take your chance on it, and just really throw yourself out there. Don't kind of like walk on eggshells around it. I used to think that I had to be the most best ideal version of myself before I could really put myself in the dating scene. And I think the problem being with that kind of mindset is that it's kind of paradoxical in a sense where, yes, there is some truth that you should generally build, I think, like a good foundation of like where you should be in life, you know? Maybe like it'd be a good idea to like find some hobbies, right? Maybe it'd be a good idea to whatever. I don't know. Hobbies is kind of the first thing that popped in my mind. But point being is that it's kind of paradoxical in a way because while that is true, you should work to be the very most best ideal version of yourself. But I think waiting to be that and that before you date, I think that's kind of impossible, because like I think like the one thing is like no matter how much work, time, effort you put into work on yourself, you'll never really understand the true kind of like variables and kind of the true like chaotic nature of like a relationship, and I think like the best thing you can do, as maybe simple as it is and kind of like duh as it is, right, is I think like continue working on yourself but still kind of keep that door like at least a crack open for it to happen. I don't think I think before my mistake was I was just pursuing it so aggressively in the beginning that the reason why my 5 dates and my one situationship didn't work out was because I think I was using them as a way to kind of cope with just kind of being scared being alone. You know, I think in this life, we kind of all want to find that special someone who kind of sees us and understands us for who we are. But I think the most dangerous thing is that the most dangerous thing is that when you find that person who you think understands you, you know, I think you never want to let that feeling go. And I think the hard part was that once I left that previous relationship with my ex and yearned and wanted that connection again, I kind of just dove straight into it. I pursued it super aggressively, and holy shit, man, it was like just, well, it was like, and fucking responding to these messages, and it was like, I learned a lot about myself on these experiences, especially the situationship too, and I'm glad I got to go on them. But I think I should keep working on myself. I think I'm not completely closing myself out to the idea of love or my potential soulmate. I do believe everyone has a potential match somewhere in the world, right? So I'm still going to leave that door open, I think. But it's kind of like run full circle. Love is scary, but I think that's the point. There was this clip on TikTok, a guy named Ethan Hawks. No clue who he is. I live under a fucking rock when it comes to these celebrities or these type of people. But his quote was, and I wrote it down here: "The one who always loves wins." What the fuck does that even mean, right? And I guess it's the idea that the point of living or heartbreak kind of reminds us, it's a part of living. Heartbreak kind of what? I guess it's kind of like a part of living. As much as like we want to kind of shut it out or try to avoid it or cope with it, I think that's just unhealthy. And I think at some point, whether we like it or not, we need to experience grief or heartbreak to kind of know the good times. So I think at least the idea, the quote is to try to psychoanalyze it. I think you should keep loving. I think it's to keep loving because even if you love with all your heart, right, and you do experience heartbreak, at least you got to experience what it's like being human. I guess. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a fucking philosopher here. Plastic plants don't grow. They're beautiful. They remain the exact same, but they don't grow. I guess you can kind of attribute that to heartbreak. Whatever. Shit. Just trying to throw my thoughts out there. I don't fucking know. Love is scary, but I think that's the point. It's supposed to be scary. You're vulnerable, and you will find somebody. And I think it'll just take time. And I think the most important thing is that you kind of just don't close out the idea of it. But yeah, that kind of ends the pilot episode. Poof, kind of went on a roll at some point and then lost it. Whatever. Right. I'm going to post this on sometime tonight. Don't know when, but you know, we'll see how often I want to do this. But yeah, this was just me yapping at the camera. This was off the script, the pilot episode. If you liked it, please like the video, turn on the bell icon, and peace.